Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This is some early Black Ops 3 beta gameplay. It's a pretty awesome game in terms of my KD and what happens in the match itself, so that's good, but I'm not going to focus solely on the gameplay in this video. I'm going to be providing you guys with my first thoughts about the beta, seeing as I'm level 20, 21, something like that at this point, so I've got quite a lot of hands-on time with it, and I'm going to be able to relay my thoughts and impressions to you in this video. I do want to point out, first of all, that I'm using the SHEIVA. It's a semi-automatic assault rifle, and it's pretty damn awesome. You can see that it kills in pretty much 2 hits as long as you're getting an upper body shot, but it shoots rather slowly. That kid got wrecked. Without further ado, I'm going to talk about my thoughts concerning the beta. Right, first things first, it feels superbly smooth. One of the things that I think that they've done really well is they've taken these movement mechanics that aren't normally in Call of Duty games, like the ability to drift and things like that, and they've implemented them in such a way that they never really feel unnatural. All of the wall running is done really tastefully, in my opinion, and so there's never really a moment where I feel like a wall run shouldn't be there or anything like that. The bridge that is right next to me in this part of the video here is a perfect example. It's an alternative way to get across the bridge. It means that you can flank enemies a bit more easily. It means that the bridge is less of a stalemate area and you can play with that location in a lot more ways. So I think that it's always done very positively, and it's the same with the actual movement mechanics. Being able to dodge away from grenades and things is awesome. Being able to just drift around and control your movement a bit more feels really, really good, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the sort of thing that people at first are most skeptical about, but then once they play, they realize that it's actually really good. It's very well designed, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting you guys to completely take my word for it, but when you jump in the beta, I think you'll agree that the movement mechanics do sort of click pretty damn fast, or at least they did for me. Some people take a little longer to get used to it. A friend of mine was saying last night that he feels like it's really weird and it just felt a bit alien, but it very quickly became natural to him, and I'm sure that going back to a previous Call of Duty game now and not having these features, these abilities to boost and drift and slide and things like that, is going to feel really just sort of old and outdated. I do think that this is the future of Call of Duty, and if you don't believe me and you think that I'm just saying this because I'm an Activision shill and I just want all the monies, well, go and try it for yourself. Seriously, once the beta's out on your platform of choice, give it a go, and I honestly think you will agree. From there, I'm going to move on to talking about map design, because the two sort of go hand in hand. If you've got these new mechanics allowing you to boost around all over the place and drift and wall run and things, you're obviously going to have to make changes to the way you design your maps. And for the most part, I think that they've got it right, and got it right damn well. However, the map evac I cannot stand. It might be because so far in the beta there have hardly been any people actually admitted. It's been a very small group of people playing because I'm playing early, and so I've only really been able to play TDM. Evac TDM is horrible. This map is Combine, I believe, and it's so much better. Evac, seriously, is just an awful, awful map in my opinion. I really don't like it. For whatever reason, it's not necessarily the design in terms of wall running things, I don't think, but more that it just feels like a complete mess. The whole thing is like a spider's web of weird twisting passages in the middle of the map, and then on the outside, the spawns are a bit weird in my opinion, and it's just not a fun time. This map, though, I love. I haven't really ever had an experience on it which I've really felt to be negative, apart from once where the spawns were a little off, but I'm sure that's something that will be fixed when the game releases, or at least I hope so. Now, as far as things like all of the guns and the Scorestreaks and stuff like that goes, it's quite hard for me to make a fair judgment in terms of the game itself, because there's a lot of stuff that's locked down, and there's also plenty of stuff that you only unlock at higher levels. For example, the M8A7, which felt extremely strong at Gamescom and might be considered OP by many a person, is currently locked for me because you unlock it at something like level 28, and I'm only level 20, 21, something like that. So I can't comment for the entire experience, but in my personal experience that I've had so far, going from level 1 to 20 in the beta, I haven't felt like anything has been necessarily OP. There are certainly guns, as in all Call of Duty games, that are favorable. For example, the SHEIVA, as I'm using in this game, I think is quite strong in the right hands. You've also got guns like the Man of War, which is really strong in my opinion. But then again, other assault rifles compete with them perfectly fine. The ARC-7, for example, is a perfectly good assault rifle, and if I pick one up, I don't instantly think, oh, I wish I could have picked up a Man of War. It's just, oh, okay, I've got a viable weapon for me to use in my hands right now that I can go to town with. Other gripes that I have with the game include the fact that the specialist battery, who I'm using now actually, has this noob tube essentially that you can use basically at will, and you'll see right at the end of the game that it's damn strong. It's not completely OP in the sense that it's not going to be in every single game in everyone's hands at all times, like with Modern Warfare 2, but rather, I think that there's something that's just not really very tasteful about it. When you've got people like Outrider, the specialist who has the Sparrow ability, which is basically a high-powered crossbow, bow and arrow type deal, that is a super cool ability, but the skill ceiling is much higher with it because it takes some real getting used to and finesse in order to use properly and actually get any kills with. When you're using the grenade launcher that Battery has, it kind of just feels a bit cheap. You get something like 6 shots. If you miss someone, the grenades split into 3 and sort of bounce around and then explode. I thought that it was going to be very similar to the TF2 Demo Man, but you'll see in my gameplay that it really isn't. It's more like a noob tube that gives you a little bit more leeway in terms of if you hit them, they die, and if you miss them, it bounces and then they die. That's pretty much how they work. I personally don't really like it, but I guess it's not the biggest issue in the world because it is something that you only have access to every couple of minutes, and there are plenty of other abilities in the game that people might deem OP at first, but I think that in the grand scheme of things, it'll balance out most likely. However, there are a couple of abilities, like Ruin's Overcharge, which allows him to speed up basically for a short period of time. That sort of thing seems very useless, to me at least. I mean, maybe if you're playing CTF, it'll be an extremely situational and useful ability, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're just playing TDM or Domination or something like that, and you're not really very interested necessarily in the objective, you just want to play and have a good time, then abilities that increase your running speed and things like that are probably going to be put to the side and replaced with stuff that allows you to blow crap up and kill a load of people. That's just my opinion at least. Anyhow, we're coming towards the end of the gameplay now. Fingers crossed you guys have enjoyed it. This guy gets pre-fired like a mother trucker. I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to kill him. This gun shoots so fast, so I'm just going to spray through the wall. Did end up getting shot in the back, but that's all good. Pretty solid gameplay. Here is me using the War Machine, that noob tube that I was talking about. Fingers crossed you guys will subscribe for more early Black Ops 3 beta gameplay. Also lots of zombie stuff on my channel as well. This thing is just pure carnage, and then we lose by 1 kill. Look how close this game is. 74-73. It goes even 74-74, and then they get the final kill. I have been MrRoflWaffles. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like. If you haven't, let me know why in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.